Hello, everybody. This is Mark Blanton from the Real South Africa.
And I am Latasha Blanton, also with the Real South Africa.
And you guys are welcome to sunny South Africa. If this is your first time, this is your opportunity to come with Phil Scott with his channel.
And they will be here on March 16th through the 25th, 2022. The cost does include the flight, most meals, and your domestic flight in country from Johannesburg to Cape Town. The cost is $5,500 per person sharing and $6,150 per person wanting a single room.
Now, at this point, you don't need any extra shots. Only thing you need to do is have a negative COVID test prior to you leaving. And then, of course, upon departure, we will get you another COVID test. And then that's it. So that's really all you need. And, of course, a passport.
So no shots, no vaccines, no nothing. Just get to South Africa. We'll see you here.
So Whoopi Goldberg has been suspended from her job on The View because she made a comment about the Holocaust. Now, we know that we have seen that pattern for a while. Now, you could speak ill about black people all day long. You could speak against slavery and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you speak about the Holocaust in any way, shape, form, or fashion that isn't what they feel you should say about it. Something's going to happen to you. So let me tell you this story. So Whoopi was facing backlash on her comments and said that her interpretation of race is skin deep. And she said, as a black person, her perspective of racism is different, leading to a misinterpretation of her intentions. Now, they said, you know, as she has been the View host and moderator, said that she's been receiving hate mail since she's saying that the Holocaust is not about race on the show Monday. Now, Goldberg has apologized and explained her comments. She was suspended from the show for 2 weeks following outrage. She said it upset a lot of people. She said, which was never, ever, ever my intention. She said during the interview on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert on Monday, said, I feel being black, when we talk about race, it's about a very different thing to me. So I said I thought the Holocaust wasn't about race. Now, she said she made the comments on The View in response to a Tennessee school district vote to remove a book about the Holocaust from shelves because of inappropriate language and nudity. So The View's co-host, they said Ana Navarro, argued that the Holocaust was about white supremacists going after Jews, which I can agree with that. It said, however, Goldberg did not back down, adding that Nazis and Jews are two white groups of people. He said, the moment you turn it into race, it goes down this alley. He said, let's talk about it for what it is. It's how people treat each other. That's what Goldberg said Monday. He said, it doesn't matter if you're black or white or Jews, it's each other. Now, he said several Jewish organizations have slammed Goldberg's comments. He said on Twitter, accused the host of minimizing their suffering. Now, black people's suffering are minimized all the time. Okay, so ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt, he tweeted, said, no, Whoopi, the Holocaust was about the Nazi systemic annihilation of Jewish people who deemed that they be an inferior race. He said they dehumanized them and used this racist propaganda to justify slaughtering 6 million Jews. Holocaust distortion is dangerous. And he did hashtag enough. Greenblatt also suggested that a Jewish co-host be added to the show's cast. And Goldberg said in her apology on Monday, she had posted Twitter, said, I stand corrected. I'm sorry for the hurt I've caused. Well, there are people who's actually supporting Whoopi on this. And she said, well, wait a minute, in the context of what we see today as race, okay, people saying, what did she actually say? She didn't minimize it. She didn't say that it didn't happen. She said it was about people committing acts of inhumanity. You know, she said that. Now, she continued to talk about that, you know, according to, you know, Britannica, she said the modern meaning of the term race is based on the categorization of people primarily by their physical differences. And this is what she was talking about. This is the Encyclopedia Britannica. And she said generally refers to a group of people who have some visible physical traits such as skin color, hair texture, facial features, and eye formation. They say Goldberg said she's upset that people misunderstood her and she's been labeled anti-Semitic and a Holocaust denier. Say when she was making a point about skin color. He said, and the actress said the issues that the Nazis had was with ethnicity. He said the Nazis were white and most of the people they were targeting were white people. So when you talk about being racist, you can't call this racism and say this was evil. He said this wasn't based on skin. He said you couldn't tell who was Jewish. He said you had to delve deeply and figure it out. Now, she said when the Ku Klux Klan's come down the street and I'm standing with a Jewish friend, he said, I'm going to run. He said, but if my friend decides not to run, they'll get passed by most of the time because you can't tell most times. So that's what I was trying to explain. He said, I understood that not everybody sees it that way. And I did a lot of harm to myself and people decided I was all these things that I'm not. So I get it, folks are angry. I accept that. And I did it to myself. And I work hard not to think that way again. But there were people in ABC that supported her. And then there were those that wanted her fired from her job. Now, Ana Navarro defended her and said, I love Whoopi. He said, I love her. He said this was an incredible, unfortunate incident. Whoopi is a lifelong ally to the Jewish community, that she is not an anti-Semite, period. So I'm sad and I have nothing else to say. Well, she didn't deny the Holocaust, no. She didn't say nothing ill. She just talked about what we deem as modern racial classification. And I'm trying to get, and a lot of people's trying to understand this too, including myself, is that she said it was white supremacists, which the Nazis were. And the Nazis felt they were white supremacists and they felt that they were the master race. And if you wasn't on board and you wasn't on code with that, then you're going to be inferior to them and they're going to do something to you. You understand? I mean, like, we talking about history here. This is world history we're talking about. So she talked about it in that sense of what the Nazis did were inhumane. It was evil. Nobody said it wasn't. But I'm just trying to understand that, like, if you don't have the official narrative of what they say you should say about that particular event in history, then you should lose your job, etc. This is why I tell black people to create your own businesses and make your own money. That way, nobody can really, quote unquote, cancel you. You understand? Now, there's people that will say, well, hey, you know, Whoopi got her wake up call. Look at all the things she said about black folks in the past on that show. Look at what she sided with. Look at what she did, X, Y, and Z. Of course, you know, Whoopi got a wake-up call on this. Of course. You know, I'm the type of person, I don't really have to celebrate you getting a wake-up call because it don't really do nothing for me that you got one. It just really do it for you. But now that since she get to be at home and she's seeing all of this and how all these different people want her removed from the show and all of that. And she kind of spoke about things in a modern sense, how the way people look at what you say race today, right? It maybe may make her think something. Now, I would say something too. I say, why don't you go ahead on and call yourself, you know, your name is Karen Johnson. That's her real name. Why don't you just call yourself Whoopi Johnson from now on? Okay. They didn't have a problem with you as a black woman walking around with the name Goldberg. I mean, that's a Jewish name. So maybe since, you know, you said something wrong and was so offensive, maybe you should just change that from now on. You know, that's what I would say personally. Whoopi, you know, is my thing is this. As I said with the Michael Eric Dyson video, one thing I do not want to grow into is an old fool. You got to know the game you playing and who you playing it with. If you working for them folks, you got to stick to their narratives, no matter what it is. You know, it's okay if you do attack black people. That's fine. Talk bad about black men all day. You can talk bad about this one, Cosby, whoever else you want to talk bad about, right? That's fine. But you better not say not one thing out of line. What I mean by out of line, out of the official narrative they want you to say about that event or something happening. You saw the situation with Nick Cannon. You know, he was on an apology tour for a year. You understand? Every time I'm noticing there's a black entertainer that's being reprimanded and losing something or whatever behind saying something about that particular event in world history. But you notice that don't happen when people talk about slavery. People talk about slavery all the time that happened here in America, and nothing happens. But it's like this. I told y'all many times before, as long as Massa cutting you a paycheck, he has power to take it away from you. So if anything, it should encourage you to do for self. Have your own show. You know what I'm saying? Because look how they treated you, Whoopi. All the things that you said at times against your own community, and you said one thing that they deemed was out of line, and look how they treating you. Maybe, Whoopi, when you come back, can you focus on fighting about the issues in the black community? Can you do that? I mean, since you got this extra time. You know, this story for me, like I said, I just thought it was very, very interesting. Like I said, but I'm seeing a pattern. I'm seeing a big pattern, a big pattern. Once again, she did not deny anything. She, in my opinion, she was just pointing out what people would say as something that we would look at today. But maybe y'all can help me understand in the comments section, because like I said, I'm still trying to figure the whole thing out. I'm still trying to figure it out. I just believe that, you know, they want to make sure that they keep black people in line. That's what I want to say. But they can always keep you in line if they're feeding you. If they're giving you a paycheck, they could always keep you in line. That's why I tell black folks, you ain't really free until you're getting your own paycheck, your own way. You understand? Or that you're so valuable to somebody that you can get away with. Look at Joe Rogan's situation, right? The reason why Joe Rogan is getting away with whatever he want to do, because he's highly valuable to Spotify. They invested a lot of money into him, and, you know, he gets more viewership or listens on Spotify than even people that on CNN get on their program. So y'all let me know in the comments, because like I said, I'm still trying to figure this story out. Living in America as a black person, you recognize there is one set of laws for you and one set of laws for those, especially in the white community. In our book, Passive Aggressive Racism in the System of White Supremacy, I take you through times in my life when I first started noticing white supremacy. We teach you how to recognize it, identify it, and also counter it in our book. This book is a beginner's course for those that are just starting to wake up and open their eyes to see the system of white supremacy. As a black American person, you must understand this system, because this system is life or death to you. How you handle it, how you deal with it, it can affect your mental health if you don't understand this system. Pick up our book, Passive Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy, today on Amazon. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store.